Well, I've arrived at my destination. I So let's see what it is. It's a beautiful day. And I live in a reasonably nice neighborhood, but it's not as nice as where all these dead people live. Well, I speak too soon and there's some industrial noises. But this cemetery is big enough that I could walk farther away from the road and not hear that. But in my house and in my neighborhood, I can't walk away from the roads because I'm walking on sidewalks next to the roads. And cars and engines and lawnmowers and things are noisy. And I wanted to walk in some peace and quiet. It's an interesting thing that right at the moment when I started to say that it's quiet, industrial noises intruded. Of course, this cemetery predates the powers that be deciding to make the other side of the cemetery border industrial. Now, that may have been seen as smart planning because the dead aren't going to complain. This is World War II era graves. I believe that American culture used to view cemeteries more like parks. And they were big, beautiful grounds, reserved, not to be built on. And I think when that was part of culture, I don't think putting industrial right next to a cemetery would have been seen as a smart idea or respectful. Even it's disrespectful in a way if you choose to believe that. Humanism is understanding that the dead, such as those buried here, are still in our community. Their actions are affecting us. I don't know if you can't read it. It's Sergeant Earl McCauley, 2nd Infantry, Company A, died November 13th, 1922. Now, I'm so ignorant, I thought World War I was over by then, but that doesn't mean this can't be a veterans cemetery. And then, here we go. Wife. Who lived much longer. Okay, now a bug is attacking me. So is that when our culture changed, once we had the ability to have air conditioning and stay inside, and it was more pleasant to be inside than outside? And so then we stopped going to cemeteries for fun or for commemoration, remembrance, recreation. Yeah, I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes. Was it the epidemics like yellow fever? That plus the invention of air conditioning that just, I'm not saying those two things happened side by side. Here's someone proud to be the youngest Confederate soldier. He died as he lived, a gentleman. 1851 to 1939, was a member of the Masons. Had no idea. Frank Ironmonger. Wife, Thelma. I don't know if it's wife, because of the... He was born in 1851. She was born in... She was born in 1918. No. Okay, here's Frank Ironmonger Jr. Okay, this is the daughter-in-law. So his own wife died in 1952, 1870. Well, she was still 19 years younger than he was. But yeah, certainly I can't judge on that. I mean, I don't judge on that. I judge on being a Confederate and thinking that you're a gentleman and living in all the way until 1939. It's like how sometimes it's like, oh, he was a product of his times. Yeah, but, well, anyway. We're all a product of our times. But this person lived 88 years. Do you get what I'm saying? You're a product of your times. We're all a product of our times. I'm 52. I've changed quite a bit. And my whole spiel, my whole shtick is about changing my programming. It's only been less than a week since I've decided that my career is self-healing. That's and the art and the writing and anything else that I produce is just, it's the written record of my self-healing. But the career, of me as a human is self-healing. I have feelings about that, like I do about everything I do. Because why haven't I heard anyone else ever say that? So does that mean it's just too obvious or too ludicrous? I wish I had one of those, hey, this video brought to you by somebody who gives me like a gimbal that can go on I don't know, something. Oh, just handheld, I guess. Would be good enough. I started imagining like a contraption, but I don't want to be in that. That's too bizarre, uncomfortable. So, I've never heard anyone else say that their job, their life is self-healing. So it's like, yeah, does that make me too arrogant, self-important, self-serving, that I say the emotional journey that I do is the most important part of my life. No other work is. Look how beautiful. I'm really into the lichen. I think I've been taught to say by being on Mastodon. Like and subscribe is one of the. Look at this. I suppose this is a good... Oh, there's a dog running around. Oh, I love it. With no person nearby. A loose stray dog. They're called strays. A loose dog. I love it. He's like me. Or she. It's. Their. Zir. Come on, let's come up with something that everyone can like. Gender neutral pronoun that everyone can like. Immediately, please. Whew, my mind is on other things. Just went to the wrong door. Although it's good. I'm looking for something, and the last time it was seen was in this car, so I might as well open up everything. I brought my headphones, but I think it's better without them here. You'll tell me. Oh my God. I did open up the one I wanted because I want the bug spray, and it's back here. So part of my mental journey is figuring out. Now that's when I made that face. That's a moment when someone could say, I could make some comment about my 52-year-old mind. I mean, my mind's better than this. Well, that's not the point. I'm completely aware of the fact that I'm juggling a lot right now. I mean, you might not be aware of it, but I'm aware of that. And, well, I could easily dip into my whole memory as attention. Oh, did I put it up here yet? That's the most important. Those little buggers really bug me. Calm down. Now, keep in mind, I was doing stretches when I was filling the air in my tires before I got here. As I say, keep in mind, it's not like I'm drunk or anything. I have chronic pain. I would say out the yin-yang, but I think if that was the location of the chronic pain, it would be better. All right. What have I learned? Decision making takes time. I'm taking time right now to make a decision about what else do I want from the car. What topics do I want to talk about next? One is, I often feel that I'm not supposed to be at the cemetery. And I don't know, whether it goes back to the childhood fear type thing. I mean, that's not what I'm thinking, but maybe I transitioned from feeling like I shouldn't be in a cemetery because it's scary and spooky, and then feeling like I shouldn't be in a cemetery because somehow it's like, it's like, as a gay man, I feel that wow. My show goes lots of places. Good, there's 0 viewers right now. Good. As a gay man, I feel that I'm not supposed to be around children. I feel self-conscious. That's the same self-consciousness I feel right now, that my behavior is outside of what's considered acceptable in my society. So, like, enjoying being at a cemetery, laughing, recording a video, looking at people's graves, talking about not liking a dead Confederate soldier. I mean, that's not what I said. I refuted the label that he was a gentleman. I don't think liking and disliking is... Anyway. I mean, maybe one of the great reasons this thing is live is that I'm not going to edit. I don't believe that I'm diverting for shade reasons. I've kind of walked out of the pretty old section into... I just wanted to see. This path was very intentional, so I wanted to see where it was going. But maybe they have future plans for pretty things, or... Well, I see it kind of winds around that way. I mean, this place truly is beautiful. And it's the oldest... it's an old cemetery. It's definitely not the oldest in the area. And I wish... But they call this side the old side, and then there's railroad tracks, and then there's a new side. And but the new side, it contains... like my great-great-grandfather, so... But I wish we were on this side. Which is my way of saying I wish we weren't Catholic. Because we're in the Catholic section. Not side. We're in one section of... that led to a discussion, why do people separate the dead? People have different customs. But they're, just like everything else, they're prejudice and segregation. Those are some of the reasons too. I wonder in what year... I wonder how Arlington National Cemetery handled. Was it always integrated? Somehow I doubt it, knowing this country. So... is there a black section with... Why did I whisper? Oh my God, I'm going back in time. What if the loose dog isn't friendly? He sure looks like a friendly pup. But in case he's needy or something, I'll try not to get his attention. I have a feeling he knows his way around here. I have a feeling he knows what he's up to. This is not his first... now a soiree. What's a matinee? I just thought of how matinee and soiree go together. So what's the one... Matin is... What's the one for afternoon? Instead of evening, you know what I mean? Sorry, this section brought to you by ADHD, which is fine, actually. There's nothing wrong with ADHD when it doesn't bother you. Oh. So what am I doing? Why is it humanist? And why do I feel self-conscious about it? What am I doing? I'm moving my body, stretching, doing things that are beneficial for me. That alone is humanist. But spending time in a graveyard, I told a friend I was texting earlier, we were talking about frustrations going on in life at the moment. And I said, I want to take a walk. The weather's nice. And then I said, I think I'm going to walk the cemetery for some perspective. One of the ways that coming to the cemetery is humanist. It certainly gives a long time frame perspective on human life. I guess I'll cover my headphones. So this cemetery is located in what would be considered a bad area. And since I don't want to take every tangent, you can figure out what bad area means. It's cemetery plus industrial plus bad area. Oh, but anyway, I locked my car and hid the expensive earphones, but I feel totally safe. I was thinking though, so part of why I feel illicit in a cemetery I feel that when do people talk about cemeteries? Only negatively, and then the only other times that they come up are when there's some sort of desecration at the cemetery. And when I was driving along, I was really grateful that this place doesn't have any excess signage or guardrails or whatever. But I also was like, oh my goodness, it would be so easy to accidentally get off the road. And although I'll be quite blunt, I do not think walking over graves is disrespectful. And it's also a way to see they cram them in, okay? And, you can be like trying to sneak by, every imaginary line in between all the graves. Or you can just not worry about it, because there's nothing disrespectful about putting your human weight on top of, like 4 to 6 feet of dirt that is on top of someone who's not with us anymore. I know someone who's not with us anymore. And that's another thing that makes coming to the cemetery humanist. I know people here. And it puts me in touch with my mortality. It makes me think about grief and the community. As I say, the people who are here are still in community with us. And I feel in the culture that, raised me, that I call Momerica, Mom plus America, I feel that there's a denial or a forgetting that this crowd is part of us. where I am is not separate from the community I live in. The people who are here are the ones who came immediately before those who are here now. And this is our history and how we came to be here. I imagine there's this idea, I guess, I feel, again, it's another American idea. I'm always willing to be corrected. But that death is the end, and then they're not part of us anymore. But I think anyone who's alive and grieving knows that's not true. There are people I care about a lot that I don't see very often. I mean, maybe, years go by. How's that different? Because I still think about them and all the time. And I don't think when I think about people I know who are deceased, no longer with us, dead, I don't fear whatever words that you want to use that you prefer. Whenever I think about something about them, my first thought is never a dead body, silent, not moving, lifeless. No. Whether or not I saw them in that state, which, let's be honest, I'm not rushing to deathbeds, hospitals, or open caskets, despite the fact that I enjoy being at the cemetery. No, what I mean is when I have a memory of someone I've known, I think of them alive. And then I think, oh, they're gone. But that's the order, Their living existence persists in my memory, my mind. I'm going to find a place to lean you and go have some private time. And even though I'm not spooky sacred about tombstones, I don't want to lean you on that. How about this sign? Let's see if that'll work. I know you're going to be tilted up more than is that good? Or bad? Or what if I tilt you forward? No, the sign's too tall. Oh. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, you're relatively sturdy there. I'll be right back. Arthur Clyde Evans, November 1887 to July 1934. United States Military Academy. Major of Infantry, United States Army. And there's a number that would be important to, or maybe that's the year he graduated. I was thinking it was a regiment, but I think it says 1911. So, 87, 97. So when he was 24, he graduated from the United States Military Academy. We call that West Point. I believe at that time that would have been the only military academy. I believe. Not my area of expertise at all. In fact, I've usually put my fingers in my ears and metaphorically and made noises whenever anyone spoke about military culture. United States Military Academy, 1911, Major of Infantry, United States Army. Oh, this one is Baby Evans, the same last name as this man. And I don't know, seeing Baby implies there's a mother. Let's see, that's Addie Ingerville Evans. Well, was born many years before this person. Oh, that person goes with Robert Julius. Well, where's did we just not buy a marker for the wife? How about getting etched on the, maybe she remarried and is buried somewhere else. Oh, I like that for her. I like that idea. Ooh, I love this. So I was saying earlier, what do you think that is, that material? Marble? The Baby one is the same. That in alone, that's interesting in and of itself. That implies they were purchased at the same time, but now a car's coming by and I'm self-conscious. But I would guess, so do you think that people would buy markers and then just wait to have the dates put on them? Or, it was just easy to get that variety of stone. But they match perfectly. So unless Arthur and Baby died at the same time, I want to know the story. So someone else is here, and this is a great time to talk about my anxiety. Now, it's going to take longer than 20 seconds for me to talk about my anxiety about being in a cemetery, and I also brought up something else. But I'm going to guess, it's like Occam's razor. I'm going to guess that person is the same as me. They know someone here and they're just chilling. I'm not going to jump to nefarious conclusions. Ooh, but that segues into what I do want to talk about, which is one of the reasons that I feel self-conscious of being in a cemetery for recreational purposes is that we never talk about cemeteries except for, when we have to go to one. And then the other time is when they get on the news for some horrible vandalism, satanic rituals, hoodlums, something bad. And lo and behold, if this doesn't tie into the first thing I said, which is visiting the cemetery was part of community. Visiting the cemetery was part of being in community. And I feel that that is no longer the case. I feel that community is completely broken in U.S. culture, life. And I've felt that my whole life. I invoke Mr. Rogers because that gave me a sense of community. That is, through the TV, that is a stronger sense of community than I'm getting from a lot of other supposed intended sources of community. This section of the video brought to you by someone who gives me a lavalier mic. It would hook up to my iPhone and just really be, not too expensive, but good quality, Bluetooth, better than my headphones, which are lovely and wonderful. I'm just thinking ahead. Another Mason. I don't know why it has a G. As far as I know, they're called the Freemasons. But I could be confusing a couple things. Frederick Tupper Lang, born in Savannah, Georgia, January 7th, 1866, died in Jacksonville, Florida, January 9th, 1919. The father of my children. I guess we know who bought the marker. Rest, dear one, from care and sorrow. Rest in peace. Lang, Elizabeth Oxley Lang, January 30th, 1867, June 8th, 1942, mother. So 1 year younger, Elizabeth Oxley married Frederick Tupper Lang, and she memorialized him, the father of my children. Rest, dear one, from care and sorrow. Rest in peace. He lived, I'm not good at math, I'm getting better, 34, 40, 13, 53. He lived to be 53. And she lived, he died in 1918. So she lived, how are we going to do this? I'm sorry, it's not funny. I can't do math. It's a tragedy. 18 plus 20 is 38 plus 4. So 20. She lived 24 more years without her husband, the father of my children. And there were others. I'm not here just to tell their story. I can't spend all my time on the Langs, as lovely and interesting as they are. So he probably knew the Confederate Mason. And given his birth date, he was born after the war. But he looked up to that Confederate Mason. I know he did. They were buds. I don't know that, but I do know that happens, and that's one of the ways that bad, he was a product of his time, is bad reasoning. Because if you don't change during the long period that you have, during your lifespan, then you are going to perpetuate that time that we're now labeling sort of bad. So I say sort of because we're not really. Someone who would say he's a product of his time is saying, and who cares? What's my solution? I separate the art from the artist. I separate the acts from the actions. Wait, no. The actor? The perpetrator. The behavior. So, do I separate the behavior from the person? I don't do that, do I? No, the work. What do I do? Why do I think it's so simple to face I think just because I don't believe in monolithic heroes and villains for the first, so like, I don't want to worship George Washington. I don't want to worship Thomas Jefferson. I don't want to worship Mr. and Mrs. Gammon, no matter how beautiful their monument might be and tempting. Oh, all right, I'm a Gammonite now. And then what is that symbol? I don't want to worship the dead. I want to live like a normal person, what I consider to be normal, which is to say that another car pulls in. I don't know if I'll ever get back to kind of what my hang-ups are. Number one, I feel weird. My whole life I feel weird about that. I did say that at the beginning. It's like, it's the same I feel about everything. But then I also compared it to feeling weird around children. Not that I think I should be, it's that I know others have, that I live in a shitty place with shitty people. So like, especially nowadays, if I were out and like a librarian or a school teacher and outspoken politically, then I would be attacked. I know that. But instead, I'm an artist, so I have no boss. Except for my 3 patrons. I accidentally deleted patrons last night. I didn't need the extra $12. $40 a month is plenty. Oh, this section brought to you by my next patron. Woodman of the world. I don't know. Doom, Tajet, Glamat. I'll look it up, and the next time I'll bring my reading glasses. I bought reading glasses, my first eyeglasses, yesterday evening. There's a statue over there that looks like a saint, but we are not in the Catholic section. Oh, there's a statue there, but that looks like an angel. That's different. That one over there looks like a Mary or a saint. I'm going to investigate. Oh, but someone did desecrate this and took the picture out. Oh. Fred H. Worthington, born July 22nd, 1873, died June 14th, 1911. Well, when I look up what the woodmen of the world are, if they're not monsters, then I'm going to be very upset with whoever desecrated this monument. This is the coolest thing in here. Please, if someone's watching this, Google all this. Woodmen of the world, Doom, Taget, Glamat. Sometimes I'm not bad at Latin. None of that means anything to me. And then this little axe and like a hammer. Fred H. Worthington. I love everything about it, unless he's horrible. You know, the woodman, it sounds nice, and then you find out they believed what? They did what? That's learning U.S. history. This is super cool. I'm running out of time, kids. Louise, daughter of Mrs. Julia Hill, nobody else. Wow. Born July 16th, 1901, died December 26th, 1910. My grandparents were born in 1911. I'm going to remove this, even though it's nice and moody and it's natural. More will fall someday, but for the moment, I'm going to remove it. Kind of reduce the wear and tear. I know it looked really cool, but the statue looks really cool too. Now, this has been knocked over, but honestly, that doesn't seem like vandalism. It just seems like time without being cared for. And my uncle turned my family plot into something really ugly because of the way it was being poorly cared for. Something like this side is kind of benign neglect, but when they mowed, they would mow on these power mowers or use weed whackers or something. They were making nicks in, like, I wonder if that is from lawn maintenance. They were making nicks in the edge of my family's markers, and my uncle was upset. Oh, and also their water, it was well watered that had minerals in it, iron or whatever, that was turning the tombstones reddish. And I don't see that over here. But my uncle and mom spent all this money doing just weird to me, things at our family area. Now, it wouldn't have been weird if we actually hung out there. Now, we would go on special holidays. I guess we still do. Birthdays and holidays. But we didn't, well, just like we did everything, we did it pro forma, and we didn't ever make anything homey, you know. There was nothing that ever felt let me think about the word. There's another tree-shaped monument over there. That's cool. I'll take y'all to my family plot one of these days. I mean, I suppose that's bad for internet security reasons. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just hide all the names. I've always been overly open on the internet. Oh, the reason I said the thing about the lavalier mic, this section brought to you by whoever gives me a lavalier mic, is that 2007, the most recent entrant. 1984, 38. That person is a Christian, and that person is a what? Upside down star? And this person is yet again a Mason. I think the G in the Mason is for George Washington, actually. That person's a Mason, born Savannah. This is the Ennis, or however you would say it. I thought of what I wanted to say. And of course, like everything, this is only according to me. I can only know me. Nothing my family did ever felt authentic. And now that I said nothing, I probably could think of something that did. But we did a lot that felt inauthentic, that felt like supposed to. And I even would go so far as to say that was sort of the religion. I don't know if that's specifically the Catholic or Americanism or just my familyism, but doing things because you had to was good, was being self-disciplined. When you were a kid, it was being obedient, and then it was learning to be self-disciplined. Oh, the reason I said the thing about the lavalier mic is that every time I switch back and forth, I believe it changes the sound, and that could be annoying. But if I had a mic, that would not happen. I do have a mic, but it's far away. One of my dreams of self-importance, I guess, or self-respect, appreciation, is somebody else can take all the material that I'm putting online and edit it into something really good. And that's fine. My material is CC by SANC. Creative Commons. By means, I should have said the essay first, but I think it's usually written that way. But it's more natural for me to say Creative Commons, share alike. So make reproductions or, alterations, share it with your, but everything you share has to be open to sharing by acknowledging the recipient, NC for non-commercial purposes. And what that really means is stupid companies. Like if somebody put it on it's negotiable, but the license is for non-commercial purposes. Listen to me. No, I'm just explaining the way the license works. I'm not saying that my work is being remixed, but I'm saying if it were, there's a difference between putting it on your YouTube channel where you earn money from ads or something. That's not the same as putting one of my, millions of viral video memes on t-shirts and selling. You can't do that, corporations. But I don't want to read these names. They are who they are. I don't share everything. That's the thing about we have limited time, so we can never really understand. We can never understand another because of our limited time. as long as I live, as long as I Well, let's look at the other tree. I know what I was about to say and also why I couldn't think of it. Burnham. Interesting that your name's Burnham and you were a woodman of the world member. Yeah, I have a feeling this is just like, oh, you masons, you stonemasons think that you got something? We work with wood. I think this is just the wood version of the stonemasons, and it didn't really last. And so they sure do have cool ass tombs, some of them. But other than that, they didn't make a lasting impression on the world, because I don't think they still exist. But if they are what I think they are, they're probably not so different from the other club that with the Confederate soldier, the gentleman. Why you gotta make everything about race? Oh, did I do that? I didn't realize I had started that. I thought everything my whole life had always been about race, and it being very obviously so. And I'm just willing to have a conversation about it. Just like I'm, oh my gosh! Matanzas, Cuba. Frank N. Gonzalez, my darling, born Matanzas, Cuba, July 4th, 1854. That's just part of his story so he could like immigrate to the U.S. to say he was born July 4th. June 20, 1898. Oh! 44 years. Not pretty young. That's why he was someone's darling. He was a hot husband. Oh. Came to Jesus as I was, weary and worn and sad. Found in him a resting place, and he hath made me glad. Well, I hope, or good for you, Frank N. Gonzalez, or your wife, who is the one who chose that quote. Anyway, I know I over-explain, and I know that's part of my thing. I know I don't have to explain because I truly do know who I am and how I project, which is how I'm able to write myself sometimes when I'm feeling like, oh my God, I'm doing that taboo thing that's ingrained in my head as a taboo, like just enjoy an afternoon in the cemetery and then people are driving by or there's employees over there. And like, for my own reasons that I didn't get a chance to fully explain, I think, will I ever? I think that hanging out in the cemetery is taboo, and it makes me feel weird and uncomfortable, and, but only through others' eyes. Not you people, you're my friends, but I mean through those eyes that I dub Momerica, just everyone who's not me, who kind of wants to have something to say about everything I do. And the way for me to overcome that is to know, I actually know myself, and I know that I'm good, and my intentions are good. That is not a foolproof shield. I have been, and I can be, and I will be again, I'm sure, mistreated despite the fact that I have, done nothing wrong. Those things happen. People mistake, when you do activities that are against the grain, and simply, my being out as artistic is against the grain. I saw a name. I'm like, I've already done that row. God, wasting my time. So it's not foolproof. It's not a shield, an ironclad Iron Man. Well, even the Iron Man vulnerabilities. Exactly. Nothing's 100%. Nothing's foolproof. Nothing's impervious to destruction. But when I am in a situation in which my brain says I'm in danger because I'm acting outside, I'm a whatever, like the nail that needs to be pounded in, the one that's sticking out. And I don't want to be pounded in. Whenever I feel that way, I remind myself that it's in my head and that I'm not actually committing atrocities. Because I'm good. I like myself. I don't do shitty things. I almost never do shitty things. Now there's a cop over there just lingering. So now that's the most frightening example of someone in our culture who is a threat. Who is the most likely to, I don't know. Makes me feel like this was a fun activity that maybe I can't redo. I just pretend to be an influencer. Making my Halloween programming. And I'll be sure to say, yes, sir. I wasn't taught that way, but I have learned. I wasn't taught to ever say that, but I've learned that authoritarians expect it. Ooh, there's a spider. Oh, check this out. Jimmy Burton, son of Mrs. L.A. Rath or Wraith? What do you think? Mary Lou, daughter of Mrs. L.A. Wraith. Well, I don't see any dates, but died before their mother. Oh, so it's Mary Lou Wraith and Jimmy Burton Wraith, I believe. According to the custom of the time. Maybe they have names on this side. Oh, so I can have the same response. So like I said earlier, when I'm doing something that I have some programming that leads me to think that it's wrong, that programming can lead me to big trouble because I start acting weird and suspicious. But also big trouble just for like I feel like condemned, garbage. That makes sense in a way. My garbage is never condemned until it's, put down the chute. Up until that point, it might always be pulled back into use. Here's something that was toppled over. Now, it could have been a natural occurrence, like a hurricane. I've had pots made out of, similar material broken by limbs falling. But it's probably vandalism. And that feels shitty because, like I said, this is our community. But we did this to ourselves by not treating it like our community. We're not here. Crime takes place in places that are... Here's litter. That's a crime. Oh, I really like this diamond. This portion brought to you by a viewer in the future who buys me a better camera. Ooh, look at that. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. Mrs. Dolly N. Parsons. I wonder if this is related to the Parsons I knew. Amanda. She was from Boston. Is that where they would do that? Amanda Parsons. Amanda. I don't know. Fountain word. Garbage. Now here, without even thinking about it, because I'm living my humanist life, the fact that I'm picking up garbage sends a signal that I'm not a vandal or a creep, that I'm a volunteer who cares. But that's not what made me think of it. Doing it, I just did it because it's my natural way, because I'm good. $18.80. Well, I mean 1921. Yeah, I guess when I look at tombstones, I should stop looking at the first date, because the second date is when they went into the ground there. That's really the one that is the age of the tombstone. I always look at the first date because I want to know how far back the person goes. I'm going to start looking at the second date first because it's a little bit more pertinent to where we are. One of these pieces of litter is fine. The other one is wet. Unless I have, of course I do have a plastic garbage bag in my car. Because I'm a humanist. It gets annoying, but I can tell you. Like, the secret to being good is believing that you are good and continuing to believe that. I think that's it, because I think that anything else I might think to say would, you wouldn't continue to think you were good. I mean, yes, because I don't believe that the arrogant, stupid people actually feel good or think they're good. But that's me. That's my belief. I'm teaching you how to be humanist like me. I don't need to know whether they feel happy or not. I know I would not feel happy if I were them. That's all I can know. So I don't want money without a social conscience. I don't want, I don't want money without a social conscience. Oh, I left it unlocked this whole time. I was like, I don't have my bag on me. Oh, I love when I do things like that. I mean, depending where, yes, it can stress me out. But I like that. I don't want to live in a world where you have to lock everything up. I don't want to... Look, I had my eyes on this car the whole time, but could I have done anything if somebody had ripped it off? No. Oh my God, so many things on my mind. Comme d'habitude. There's all these videos on YouTube about don't say this, like every phrase you've ever been taught, because that's how they get clicks, right? I mean, maybe it's true. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's marketing. Oh, yeah. Quick, somebody make that. This section brought to you by whoever made that for my soundboard. Maybe it's truth. Maybe it's marketing, like in the Maybelline. Yeah. Or maybe it's real. That's what it, I don't know. If it can be closer to the original, that's better. So I think it's real. Right? Natural? Whatever. Good Lord. I'm hopped up on I was really down this morning, by the way. So this is another example of how my humanist practices elevate me. Walking, moving my body, thinking of my place in society. Given how I feel, yeah, it could have made me feel worse. I could have thought, I did think about the Confederacy but overall, I feel good because I'm in nature, natural beauty, and I'm in a space that no matter what religion somebody is, this is a humanist thing to do, which is to remember the dead. It's also very human not to remember what you're doing. And the anti-humanist reaction to that is, I'm so stupid, I'm so old, I can't remember anything. And the humanist reaction to that is, I have so many things on my mind, I'm doing really well. It's a 10% battery, I'm just gonna keep doing this, I guess, until it dies, or I make that decision. I'm not stressed about that. The phone might be stressed. But now I've got my wet Mylar trash bagged up. If this other one is clean enough, it's probably going to go into my living collection. I'll put this stuff back here. Again, this is why I pretend to be making a religion, but I'm not pretending. Humanism is real, but how many people do you see practicing it who say they know what it means? Yeah, I'm ready to be gone. I can plug you in. Sorry. So, it's another thing. So, like, in every situation, there's a humanist. I was about to do a binary. Like a humanist and an anti-humanist. I guess, you know. Lower. So just there. Multiple thoughts were coming in at the same time. I didn't freak out about it or feel like it was weird or wrong. I just knew it's going to take me a minute to figure out what I want to do. Every time this happens to me, I just take my time. And then, you know, like, I'm pretty confident, even though I'm completely freaked out, I'm pretty confident I will figure out where that CD case is that belongs to the public library. This section brought to you by a future viewer who gets me a mount for the car. I thought getting in the car would make things better, but it isn't doing that. Because there's no way for you to put you down. And right now, I have to confess, I'm moving because my head went to self-consciousness about the cop. Cops create anxious drivers who do things that raise their suspicions. Because if I were an influencer... Look, you're just going to have to put up with me being sideways. It's the only safe way to handle this situation. God, I can't believe I was worried so much about that when the solution was so simple. As if my content, as if it matters what the video quality is. Oh, do I want you looped into the... I can't decide. So when I talk a lot, like I've been talking for, not completely, but just about an hour and a half straight. Oh, maybe that's why Sam Cedar has a crazy voice. It's the way he's sacrificing for us, for me, for those who enjoy his work. Fisherman's Friend. Oh, step one. I don't know what I touched, but I don't think anything. My doors. It's so much better. I'm having filmmaking jokes. I was thinking I can make my job easier, my life easier, by not talking all the time. And then a voice said, "Show, don't tell." Show, don't tell. And I was like, oh yeah, show me eating a cough drop. I don't have to talk about it. It's clear that I like them because I make all my choices that way. The roots had grown into the pavement, and I was afeared that it might jostle you down. So I kept, like, I would use a mount and a gimbal. I was thinking Kimball, Sir Richard Kimball. Next I need lip be. It still says tire pressure low. I'm gonna have to go to that. There's a monument with names on it. William Davis King, 2006. Like pulled up in the maintenance area. That's disturbing. Wait, get out of here. Oh, that way is the... Anyway, both ways were ways out, so... Oh. I talk about loving myself, loving others. That's my intention. My intention is to love. Just like my intention is to drive such as not to injure anyone else or myself. That's part of my love. They're building what I think is part of the Greenway. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. I can show you. They're doing a what they call the Emerald Necklace. And I bet that's what this is part of. Like a biking highway type of thing. What do you think? That'll be fun. Of course, the creek is nasty because I said earlier that my people consider this a bad area. My America people. White people. One thing I do a lot more than the average white guy is talk about white people objectively. And even just naming white people seems to tick white people off. I know it doesn't make sense because I'm a white person, but that's the way people speak. It'd be like, I mean, like if I said people who go to Princeton are rich? Well, of course that's not 100% true, but and maybe if I had said instead of rich, maybe if I had said like a come from a certain social class, or people who go to Princeton are the children of parents who are who are highly educated. None of that's 100% true, but it makes it a lot easier to talk than having to cite statistics every time. I mean, I get it. I am pretty mouthy. It wouldn't be hard for me to say most white people, but do I have to say white people vote for Donald Trump? Not all white people. I guess I can take the extra time and say most white people vote for Donald Trump. But it's still collectively true that white people vote for Donald Trump. Like, I also believe... Oh, that's where the woman was at her happy birthday corner. Just like it's true that white people are the cause of the destruction of the world. Yes, all people are complicit, But it's white people who got that ball rolling and have committed the majority of the harm. There are times when greater specificity does less good. Oh, and that comes right back around to one of my humanist principles is motivated reasoning. I do think it is very important to be in touch with reality, but I also believe in motivated reasoning, which is that I know it does me better to think that I am good and to act accordingly than to worry that I am bad and then stress about how bad I am, even if I'm thinking I'm so bad, I've got to be better, I've got to do good, all that is extra work that's getting in my way of just being good. And I don't mean simply defining everything that I am as good. I had to do that with gayness. I did have to redefine, no, this isn't bad, this is good. But beyond that, I know like driving a internal combustion engine car is not good. I know that. I'm still good. I know that, I know every product in my life is the product of oppression. That's true. You know, I know that my privilege is unearned. Yes, that's true. I'm still good. A lot of it, or maybe all of it, yeah. I don't have anything to do with that. Sorry. One of my book ideas is it's nobody's fault. I think a lot of white people refuse to even have the conversation. They don't want to move forward. They'd rather the world die than say the things I just said, that I have unearned privilege. Me and my people are complicit in the destruction of the world. For whatever reason, white people can't say that. I can, and it doesn't affect my self-worth at all. Saying that makes me feel really good. I see that someone has commented, I'm in a traffic situation and the words are really small, and I'm scared that it might be somebody just saying how to get likes or viewers or whatever, because that's what half of the, or it's going to be somebody who's disagreeing with my white, well, whatever. I'll wait till I'm out of my traffic situation. Part of my humanism is I take care of myself without much apology. Like the way, if somebody wanted to chat right now and by my not chatting, that is the end of that, then that's okay. That's their choice. I don't have a feeling about that. And I mean, I'm always saying I don't consider my material entertaining. It's not appealing. What's the word I often use? It's not accessible. And I'm okay with that. I'm still gonna make what I want. Boy, I should have avoided wherever I am now. And it's probably just gonna get worse. What time is it? Oh. It's because I'm doing this. I'm gonna say 1 hour 40 is long enough. Okay, well, I'll read the comment if I can. Oh, I just need to turn up the brightness. Not sure if it is because you're streaming from a phone and you're driving, but your stream lagging. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's good info. I'm doing my best, but I'm gonna go. I gotta think. I'm in traffic and I don't want to be. Bye-bye.